EA is the most hated company, not only in just gaming, but the most hated company across the board. They repeatedly have done things that are damaging to the consumer, these anti-consumer practices that have ultimately evolved into now one of their flagship games, Battlefield 5, is facing just atrocious pre-order numbers that I don't see will be rising in the next month and a half before the game actually releases. It's lagging very far behind Black Ops 4 and of course Red Dead Redemption 2, two games that's sandwiched in the middle of in terms of release. I'm very excited about how poorly EA has handled not only the marketing of this game, but how poorly they've handled, releasing the trailer of this game that was historically inaccurate, even though it claimed to be accurate, as well as how they just handled the situation as a whole by calling their player base basically stupid. And that really excites me because I want to play Battlefield 5, right? But I'm not going to buy it at release. I'm going to buy it a month after release, when inevitably after it sells just awfully, it'll be on sale for half off, and I'll end up with Battlefield 5, which is probably going to actually be a great game. I'll end up with Battlefield 5 for probably about $30 a month after launch, and I'm sure I'll be pretty happy with it. While people have become very upset about the game, the marketing around the game, the trailer, all these smaller details, the truth of the matter is Battlefield 5 will probably actually be a great game if you can get past the historical inaccuracies and just see it simply as an enjoyable video game. For one, it has no season pass. All microtransactions will be cosmetic, which, like Titanfall 2, is something that I think is pretty exciting as a sort of free-to-play player, as I tend to call myself, because I don't buy into any microtransactions and oftentimes don't buy into any DLC expansion packs or season passes or things of that nature. I just want to buy the game and be done and move on with it. Plus, the addition of a Battle Royale mode in Battlefield, I think will be even more interesting than seeing a Battle Royale mode in Black Ops 4. Obviously, Black Ops 4 is planning to implement vehicles, but we've had vehicles in the Battlefield franchise for a very long time, so I just expect that Battlefield will implement those vehicles into the Battle Royale mode much better than Black Ops 4 will. And then, of course, Battlefield 5 seems to have finally taken on games as a service as a positive thing. This is something that I always wanted to see more games do, and I feel like Overwatch has done it quite well. Games as a service is something people hate to hear. It means content is constantly being released, new content that you end up having to buy, but games like Overwatch oftentimes have it be accessible to the player by unlocking it through gameplay, so the developers are creating new content for the game even after release at really no additional profit besides the opportunity to draw more players into the game later in its life cycle. And I believe Battlefield 5 will achieve that, which is why it's even more exciting to see it sell poorly and inevitably end up on sale for half off. People have been cheering on the demise of EA for years. I honestly think back to Mass Effect 3's DLC that came out at launch as being one of the big turning points, but I'm sure there were things that happened before that that were upsetting for EA customers. Regardless, the thing about EA games to me is it seems like if I buy an EA game, I end up with a pretty solid game at a pretty solid discount, with the exception of Madden, which I oftentimes get at launch for about $30 because of all the coupons and discounts I string together. Oftentimes, I wait to buy EA games until a month or 6 months after launch, at which time, like in the case of Battlefront 2, I bought it at a heavy discount and it turns out to be a really good game that got overshadowed by microtransactions that got removed. You can say what you want about EA, but for the most part, when you see an EA logo on a game, it's going to be a good game. They don't make shovelware type games. They're a significant game publisher that releases quality games, but oftentimes paywalls the content behind microtransactions. So if you can buy one of those good games for $20 or $30 a few months after launch, I say go ahead and do it. And that's what I've done so many times over and over again with many of these EA titles as they continue to face more and more backlash. So don't pre-order Battlefield 5. Don't buy Battlefield 5 at launch. I don't care if you don't like it because of the ethics behind pre-ordering, or if you don't like it because of the historical inaccuracies in the trailer, or if you don't like it just because you don't like EA. I want to play Battlefield 5, but I don't want to pay $60 for it. And your ability to not buy the game, drive their sales numbers into the dirt for the first month, are going to inevitably create awesome sales opportunities for people like me who do want to buy the game, but just don't want to pay full price for it. So what do you guys think of Battlefield 5? Would you pick it up if it was on sale for, say, $30 a month after launch on Black Friday? I can very much see that happening. I'm not in the retail business, so I can't predict it for sure, but it just seems very, very likely to me. What do you guys think of that? Would you buy Battlefield 5 for $30, or would you still skip on it just because it's an EA game? Thank you guys for watching. I'm Bailey, and I will see you in the next video.